Hi, my name is Nina. I am the holistic Gundog specialist at Confident Canine in Essex, and I am joined today by
Gabriella. I am a psychic medium, animal communicator, and business energetics coach.
and Rosa's going to just join us.
And she's joining
as well.
us as well. Perfect.
She can't make up her mind what she wants to do.
She might be on and off. We're fine.
Yeah. So, you've got to sit down if you're going to stay up here, though. Rosa, you going to sit? Good job. You just breathe. You can even lie down if you want. Therapy couch. Anyhow, so we wanted to get together and talk to you a little bit about energy because we both work with energy and we both work with animals. Gabriella, obviously, in the capacity of animal communication and things like Reiki.
Yeah.
Me for my Reiki and for dog training, for specifically Gundog training, but I do lots of other breeds as well. And energy is a massive factor. When I talk about being a holistic Gundog specialist, it's not just about things like food, diet, environment, but a massive part of being holistic is energetics because dogs work very much with energetics. Obviously they use it when they're doing their animal communication as well. So a lot of people talk about the body language of dogs, but actually there is a lot of energy involved with dogs. You'll see that when a dog is standing next to another dog and trying to maybe move it with its body, but quite often it doesn't actually even touch the other dog. No. It's just using its energy and its vibes to move the other dog. Thank you, darling. So yeah, it is a massive part of all that we do.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh no, I was just going to say, it's also like talking in the blend and the connection between animal and owner as well. Your energy is just as important as what's going on with theirs. A lot of the time they are so in tune and so aware, especially because it's something they use so frequently. And a lot of people are less aware of how much their energy is influencing their dog as well. And that can be a really impactful thing to understand and to learn. And that's something we both very much value in how we talk to people. Yeah.
And again, that came up in today's session. So today's boy is a super sensitive boy, absolutely lovely, lovely spaniel, but very sensitive to just the energies around him, the energies of his owner, everything. And it was the end of their program today, so they've been doing my Leap into Action program, and we've worked through a lot of the things that were affecting him so that he can be a lot calmer and a lot more just able to listen and that kind of thing that he couldn't do so well originally. And it was lovely speaking to his owners at the end. Are you getting down again, darling? And they were saying about how nice it's been to understand him on a completely different level. Like, no, thank you. On a completely different level. Where before maybe they didn't understand why he was doing certain things that he's doing or how to help him to do or to not do things. They have a greater understanding, but it isn't just of body language and dog training. Rosa, stop attention seeking, my love. But it is also of do you want to get down? Ooh. But it is also of the energetics. So today was a really good example. He was a little bit high today, not sure why. We think we have got a storm on the way. So it could have been that, but also there were other factors at play that I know of. And so he was struggling a lot when he first arrived today. So we did a lot of work on how to adapt training to help him to be most successful and to look after where he's at emotionally. So rather than having to control him so much, it's showing him how he can control himself, but also of energy. So there were some moments where I took Spencer, thank you, Rosa, where I took Spencer, I took him and I held the lead so that he could, there comes the rain, so that he could be super calm with me before we then restarted again, because obviously energetics is something that I do, so it's something I can slip into easily when I need to for clients' dogs. Oh, it's coming down a big one. I know. Don't know if you can hear that, but it's super rainy now. So yeah, it's massive. And if you are looking at dogs and you are looking at dog training and you are not looking at energy, you are definitely missing a big chunk of how dogs work. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the animal communication angle of that.
I was just going to say, actually, the other thing that I find a lot for people, especially when they have a dog that is normally either like a heart dog, one they feel really connected to, or one that brings them a challenge, what I have found is normally that is also something that brings healing for you as well, and it brings healing for both of you, because it makes you look at things you're maybe not looking at in your day-to-day life. It gets you to manage your energy, it gets you to learn what stories and mindsets and stuff you have in place that could be feeding into your dog, and their, you know, the relationship with them and the energy that they're picking up on and they're feeling. It gets you to become much more mindful and aware. And I think it's such a powerful thing, especially when you can lean into it and be willing to approach it in a different way. And she's back. And be willing to approach it in your own way. Then it gives you a whole bunch of new tools. It gives you a deeper connection with your dog. And it really opens up the door to just so much more. And the thing I love about animal communication is, first of all, it's one of those things that I really believe everyone is capable of. We all have our intuition and our energy ability, and I feel like, especially when we are connected with our own pets, we naturally become to pick up, like, have the ability to pick up more and more of what they are saying to us. Just put a little head tilt, of what they're saying to us. And often we think, oh, it's just because, you know, I know this, that, or the other. But sometimes you'll just be sitting there and you'll just go, oh, I wonder if I filled up the water. And it'll be your dog sat there going like, hello.
Yes, need my water.
It's over here. And there's all these kind of little energy shifts and moments. And it's just so wonderful. And the thing about animal communication especially is you can come to it for any reason, right? I've had people that come to me because their dogs maybe, or horses, or any animal is maybe at the end of life. They're maybe poorly. The household itself may be going through a change. Maybe they're moving house, or there's an addition to the family coming, or someone in the family is not very well, and you can just feel the energy shift in the house. And it really gives you the space to not only understand maybe some of the things your animal is going through, and maybe some of the more behaviours that they're showing up with.
Because I looked at her and
that they're showing up with, but it also then gives you a chance to explain and talk to them, right? The more you can actually have conversation with them, kind of like kids, if you actually have conversations with kids, they understand. They know. And they're super aware when things are going on and you're not telling them. So the more you can have that space of communication and have that shared sort of trust within yourselves, the more your relationship builds, the better connection you have, and the better your training and stuff's going to go as well. So,
because you know what, while you were talking, I was just thinking as well, there's that huge connection as well between words and energy.
Oh, huge.
The words that you use and the energy that you create. So even if they don't understand your words from a you know, this dictionary point of view, they understand the words 100%. And the energy behind them. I talk a lot about when people are praising their dogs, especially the dogs that I deal with, which tend to be dogs that are really struggling. They're overwhelmed, they don't recall, they can't walk on a loose leash, and a lot of them cannot listen at all when out and about. And when we first start working with them, a lot of that is very difficult for the owner, who's generally before me has used a lot of different trainers and not made progress, or not made the kind of progress they're looking for. And so when they come to me, their mindset is already very much more willing to accept something not working than something working. So when their dog actually does something that for that dog is massive, even though it doesn't look it, so it might be just actually listening to a sit out and about, where for another dog that would be a doddle, for this dog it's actually really difficult. So when they say yes, well done, that kind of thing, the energy often, not all the time, but often isn't there of that complete joy that they have done this miraculous thing, because it doesn't feel massive. For some people it does, absolutely, but for a lot they're like, well, it was a sit and so many dogs can do this, why is this so difficult?
I also feel, just to add on to that, I also feel like some people have fear and anxiety around, okay, well, they've sat this time.
Yes.
Right? It's like, because they've had so much quote unquote proof of the opposite and them not being, you know, consistent or whatever, they do one thing, and instead of getting excited, they fear getting excited and celebrating that with the dog.
Disappointed later.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a really good point. And so when they say well done, or you know,
it's like,
whatever
filled
yippee, it's not that heartfelt
joy,
done.
open.
And it's not that they don't love their dogs.
No.
That most of the people, well, all the people I see passionately love their dogs, because that's why they've come to their umpteenth trainer, because they're so desperate to be able to have a nice life with their dog, and not just from their point of view, but they want to help their dog.
Yeah.
But when they say well done or yippee about something, it doesn't have the heartfelt energy of well done. I actually said to a client the other day, it's a bit like if your child drew you their first stick picture of a person, and you know, one arm is over there somewhere, you would still give them a heartfelt, oh my God, darling, that's so wonderful, did you draw that, how amazing. You would be surprised how many dogs, especially those who struggle are desperate to have well done said with that energy, with the real appreciation that they have struggled, and that is a massive feat for them to accomplish. And it completely changes how they feel about everything. So I've seen dogs who aren't interested in toys or treats until their owner manages to open their heart and start saying heartfelt well dones and heartfelt thank yous, and then suddenly they love their toys and they love their treats, because it isn't about the toys or treats, it's about the heartfelt energy coming from their owner when they are delivered. And
on an additional note to that, on the human side of things, what I witness a lot is the struggle to have an open, heartfelt, joyful energy around something comes from holding back in yourself, past traumas, anxieties, stories you've got running around your own life about, well, it's not safe for me to be joyful because then something will go wrong, or like there's always something more behind that, like the struggle to let go and feel that openness and feel that heart space fully, that comes down to more of your things than it is necessarily actually about the dog.
Well, I struggled massively with our first dog. It was supposed to be your first dog.
Story for another day, that.
Definitely a story for another dog. But Cody, I had no clue about dogs at all. I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing my best. I listened to a lot of wrong people. Things weren't going well at all, and I just, I struggled to connect. I struggled to enjoy him. It was just, awful. For a good 1.5 years at least before I started to find the right people to connect me back up. But actually, once I met my boy where he was, and it's something I speak to a lot of owners about, I've had that conversation today, you know, when you've got a difficult dog, you have to learn to meet them where they're at. You can't meet them in the same place as you see that spaniel down the park who's immaculately trained and doing everything it's taught or whatever, and tail whacking the wall.
I know.
But a lot of people do that, you know, they meet their dog but not where they're at. They meet them trying to pull them into this completely different space that isn't them. But if you can meet them where they're at and start to appreciate and connect to them where they're at, your journey will go a lot more smoother. And just like Gabs was saying earlier, there is so much normally that these difficult dogs have to teach us about life. They are here for a reason.
100%.
They are in our lives for a reason, to teach us certain lessons that nothing else would be able to teach us like a dog. And I learned loads from Cody, and I'd been through a lot of trauma pre-Cody, and he helped me to smile again, and you know, to laugh when he was being, you know, naughty. Not necessarily at him, although sometimes I would, because I couldn't help myself, because he was amazing. But you know, to be able to find the humour in the daftness, he was my little clown, made a huge difference, rather than me trying to create this perfectly trained little robot dog.
And I also think, just on that note, if you think about, again, you, how much happier are you when people really love you and let you be yourself in whatever way that is, in whatever quirks you have, in whatever interests you have. When people let you lean in and they support that, you feel so much freer and happier, and you feel more connected.
And it's that unconditional love, isn't it? Instead of there being conditions of, well, when you recall nicely and when you whatever, I just
because then you
love
feel pressure, wouldn't you? If that was, again, if you want to flip that around, if that was you, and you, like, I don't know, didn't quite come in straight, right, for your recall and your sit, or whatever, you know, that you're doing, you'd be like, well, I'm obviously just rubbish at the whole thing then, because like
did my best.
Yeah, I did really well. Like I went really well. I did fast, whatever. But it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And then you end up in a state of mind and being an energy of, well, nothing I'm doing is good enough. So why am I trying? What's the point?
And also you get more stress, don't you? Because that pressure in the environment, I definitely see that in dogs.
Yeah.
They know when they're going to do something that they're not good at.
Yeah.
That pressure is already on. So actually the loose leash walking and stuff gets worse.
Yeah.
Because they know it's just going to be another awful walk for them as well, with them failing to achieve whatever they're supposed to achieve. And half the time they're failing because they don't understand what we're looking for. Yeah. Once we can actually show them what we're looking for, it creates a completely different thing, you know. I see a lot of dogs with people where they'll be sort of saying heel when their dog's out in front.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're just telling your dog that heel position is actually out in front. And people will say, well, my dog knows where heel is. No, it doesn't. Because when you say heel, they come back and they leave immediately after their treat. They don't understand heel means come and walk by my side and stay there.
Yeah.
So, you know, half the time they're failing because they haven't actually been taught anything they can actually understand. So now they're also confused. They're confused because they don't know what's expected of them. They can feel the pressure of the owner that they're failing at it, and it's just like, that's no fun for either.
No, and not only are they feeling that, you know, they know that they're failing or feel the failing, they can feel your energy and frustration as well. So, you know, you're going to get more frustrated the more you feel it's not going right, and often you have that two fault, don't you, where you kind of got that going on, and then you feel, well, I'm not doing my part right, and then I'm failing them, and it becomes this whole cycle of like energy of we suck and we're failing and it's not enjoyable anymore, and that takes it out for both of you. Whereas the more you can create an environment that's, again, a bit more play, connection, joyful, you're getting to actually be and spend and connect with each other, that's where you're going to create the most shifts, and you're going to create them quicker.
What's your leg? Are you coming back? Yeah, the huge change in energy that you can create by getting into positive vibrations rather than the lower vibrations of, you know, disappointment, worry, all those kind of things, will make a huge difference. So, yeah, I mean, we went off on a lot of tangents there.
I feel like there's a lot in there for you, and anything that you're, like, you've picked up on from what we've said where you're like, oh, do you know what, actually, this, that, or the other, or I've got an idea of that, like, drop a comment, let us know. If you've got questions, let us know. We want to obviously be doing a lot more of this, so anything we can do to like help in these conversations is, you know, that's what we're here for. So let us know.
If you've made it to the end of the video and you think it's good, and you think you would like to know more about any of this, if you actually just drop us a comment on the thread where this is posted, then we will let you know how you can get your freebie with a little more information on energy and how you can work with it. So thank you for listening.
Thank you for being here. We're sending you all so much love.
And Rosa says hi from under the couch somewhere.
She does.
She's moved on now.
So we're done. We're finished. But yeah.
Yeah,
hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for being
care.
here. Bye.